about to watch a Patreon live stream. If you're interested in participating in a future Patreon live stream, you should definitely consider joining my community at patreon.com/Abbey Normal's Wisdom Quest. Okay, I'm going to get started. I'm going to channel Jesus today. And let's see what he has to share with all of us. Okay, I hear my shoes on like marble floor, like bank floor. And I'm very slowly walking. And I'm dressed like a man going into work, into the office, and I have a nice outfit on. It's not like jeans and t-shirt day, like Friday. It's like a Monday. I even have a briefcase. And it actually feels like I'm walking to face my very uncomfortable truth. Okay. There's something paralleling it to, let's say I died and now I got to go meet my maker, and I'm a little bit freaked out and I'm worried about what that experience, how that experience is going to evaluate me, or what I'm going to see or feel in that experience. There's a lot of like kind of gloom and doom, like discomfort to it. Okay. I haven't actually gotten to the Jesus part. I'm guided in this way to the Jesus part because I'm not feeling his energy just yet. So we're just going to keep moving forward like this. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what happens. He stops walking because he's headed toward an opening at the end of a long kind of dark tunnel. And he's really uncomfortable to the point that he's trying to get out of this. So let's say you die, and now you're in this alternate experience where you're walking towards your meet your maker moment, and you're trying to get out of it. And so he kind of relies on some kind of human idea, and he opens his briefcase and there's a gun in it, and he takes the gun out and he shoots himself in the head. In the spirit realm, he does this and he falls to the ground. I hear his body just turn into a crumpled plop on the ground. I'm starting to understand the Jesus side of the message. I understand why it feels like Jesus is not here. The man is completely relying upon himself, the human who has insecurities and fears. The whole point is kind of what this message is saying is, so Jesus is one of many incredible, awesome beings in the universe to connect with. And we're just human, right? So when we have extra support from the spirit realm that we can actually kind of interact with them on our level, it helps us big time. And Jesus is one of these where you could say, hey, Jesus, I'm alone. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. Help me, now you allow yourself to feel that loving presence that is supportive, non-judgmental, would never judge you. So meeting your maker is actually supposed to be an exciting thing. There's no judgment. That's wrong. Only you will judge yourself. So are you afraid of your own personal self-persecution here? In the energy world, though, it is a lot louder. Everything is amplified in sound. So it's a lot more uncomfortable if you're bringing your human self, up to bat with the very loud sound of what is all your emotions and all your feelings and all your memories amplified to still love yourself no matter what the decisions were, because you can. And to do that all by yourself takes a great deal of strength, but to do that with love and support, what are friends for? You know what I mean? So this man, he's walking and he stops because he's so uncomfortable and he has only himself to work through this. And his only solution is the gun. The gun. So he could have asked for help, though. there's more than just himself, but he has to believe in that, you know? If he only believes in himself or whatever he can see, feel, touch, taste as a human being, he's missing a big portion of reality. He's missing a big portion, an additional portion, an awesome additional portion to reality. And how many people do you think, though, fall into that, where they can't allow themselves, they don't know how to believe that something more than themselves exists, something more than this world exists. I think a lot of people feel like something more must exist. Maybe some people don't know how to believe it, because if they can't see it, then how can they believe it? I guarantee a lot of people have something tugging on their heartstrings, that they can feel, they could acknowledge, but they just simply don't acknowledge it. And so we're always kind of, I don't want to call it a battle, but we're given opportunities to expand. It's just, are we ready to listen? Are we ready to acknowledge? Are we ready to ask the questions? Are we ready to be more observant? Are we ready to say, whoa, a thing just happened there. I felt it. I ignored it. I closed the box. I threw it away. Why did I do that? What was it? Can I pull it back? I can't remember what it was, but it felt like love. And then I denied it. So what was that saying? I've even had moments like these where I can't understand what the feeling is. And I'll notice just briefly that I had a feeling, and I just got distracted by something else. But for some reason, I stopped and said, wait a second, I just had a thing happen, a feeling happen. But then I took priority to go into the kitchen and get breakfast instead of just waiting a minute and exploring what that thing was, you know? To have the ability to go back and do that and to feel it, to stay with it. And it could be a good feeling, you know, worth feeling. And is that the human experience? Is that beyond the human experience? Does that good feeling mean that there's still no heaven because we can't see it or feel it, or there's no spirits out there? It's just me. There's so many different ways to perceive reality. It's pretty interesting. So let's get back to the guy, the gun. And it's like, there's no Jesus here. Where's the Jesus part of the message? That is the Jesus part of the message. Okay. He's okay. So Jesus is now showing me another angle, and how the man's heart's beating really fast, and how he's kind of crying on the inside, his inner child, and many different ages of himself are crying on the inside. He feels cut off and alone. He's scared. He's not able to think clearly. He's making now rash decisions. All the while, Jesus is there, sort of just like arms around him, saying, slow down, slow down. That's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do. It's kind of this concept of, if there was another way, what would that way be? Because there's always another way, you know? It's always another way. So it's just a calming down sensation. And maybe there's a persona like this in all of us, you know? Like, we have so many inner collective selves, and some of these inner collective selves become our front runner person. So we could have an us who's really good at being optimistic, and an us who's really good at being pessimistic. And when life turns into a tumble and it feels hopeless, the pessimistic one starts to have more power and be more convincing. And so we have to ask ourselves, where are we at in this, you know, in this moment in our life? Who's calling the shots right now? Is it the one whose heart's racing and who is full of anxiety, who can't take another step, who needs out, who needs a way out, and there's no other way but this way? But what's really neat is there's always another way. We have to slow down. We have to. And to receive that other way, which is calming It's a security. It's a sensation of you're not alone. It's a sensation of a best friend is there. Hmm. It's really, I feel a wholeness developing, like my heart is becoming whole. I feel like I'm getting more breath, and the oxygen helps me to think clearly. Literally, isn't it interesting? If you're having a panic attack, it's like you're losing your breath. And the one way to calm yourself down is to breathe, is to do the opposing thing that you're struggling to do, is to breathe, because you got to get the oxygen to your brain. You got to get the oxygen to your body so you can calm down again. So breathing is powerful. Just breathing is powerful. All right, let's see where this goes. I'm just going to stick with it for a little bit longer. All right, Jesus shows me that the man has already made his choice. He's already made the choice. And I say, is he in the spirit world, in a purgatory? Is this paralleling his walk in the human life? And that's why it's just so dark and it looks so astral. Um, so where is he in time and space? Jesus says he's everywhere. He's everywhere in time and space. So, but where is he in time then? So he's already died, or he hasn't died yet, or he's died and now he is dying yet again, or all of that is true. He says, when is it going to stop? He's kind of saying whether you're in incarnate state or in the afterlife, because there's many dimensional planes that your soul can be attracted to depending on what you're working through. So when you have trauma and you die in a place of trauma, you can find yourself in a place of trauma in the spirit realm. I mean, that's what purgatory is a place of trauma. That's why we have to help our friends, right? We have to help our family. Like, we're all brothers and sisters here. We got to help each other. And that's why born into planet Earth are people that have special skills, whether they're born in the African tribe or in Iowa. We have special skills. We all do. Some of us are more able to develop them than others, but we all have the ability, to learn and to help our friends and family in any dimension in the universe. Same with Jesus, also able to do that. But he says, put the gun down and don't hurt yourself anymore. When you start to sense that the fear is creating the thought and the idea that becomes very convincing that ending your life is the best decision, it doesn't matter if you're in purgatory or not, wherever you are in the universe, alien or not alien. And it's very specific, like making a very specific choice to end your life, a very specific one. Sometimes we make a non-specific one, like I'm going to choose alcoholism. That's not killing myself. That's just a coping tool. That's just going to shorten my life. It's an interesting concept. Is that suicide? It's an interesting concept. It's not a quick moment, bam, it's done and over with. It's slow prolonged moment, kind of the same thing in some way or another. We're all probably attracted to shortening our lifespan somehow, even if it's very vague, not really, I'm not really meaning for it to be like that, versus very specific, like, yes, I am meaning for it to be like that. Put the gun down. Put the gun down. I'm wondering if something in our collective is really brewing here and people just are really sensitive right now. Maybe there's a reason why Jesus has been so loud in my world, and a message from Jesus is so important. And maybe there's many of us that need to hear this right now, and need to remember we're not alone. And there's always a solution. Breathe. Put the gun down. Let the love in. Let the love in. How do you let love in? Simply saying, Jesus, help me is enough. Now you could take it to another level. Say, Jesus, help me. Now you can be a child again, work with your imagination, okay? And now pretend that Jesus is there. That's what you got to start with. You got to trick your ego because it's just pretend, right? If you say it's real, then you're a nutcase. If you say it's pretend, then it's fine. Okay. I'm just pretending that Jesus is here hugging me right now. No, Jesus is actually here hugging me. Cuckoo. Some people would say cuckoo. I would not say cuckoo because the energy is real. Love is real. So it's not cuckoo. Love is not cuckoo. Whether you want to define as pretend or real, it's real. Love is real. Let it be real. Don't be afraid to say it's real. If love wants to be called Jesus and look like what we think Jesus looks like, right? Then so be it, right? If love wants to be that delicious bowl of strawberries for breakfast, then so be it. Like it's your style of love. It's your version of love. There's so many different types. Find your love, right? And let love be real for you. Let it be there for you when you don't know how to be there for yourself. Yeah, I'm feeling it. It's going a step further and letting it come into you without being afraid, letting yourself feel like a baby and letting it hold you. Jesus, help me. Now I'm going to pretend that I'm a baby and I'm going to pretend that Jesus is holding me now. And I'm going to let it feel real because it is real. It's love. It's completely reorganizing your whole energetic dynamic. It's completely rearranging the way your chakras are inhaling or exhaling, the way the pessimistic influences are coming in, creating the anxiety, creating the I can't think clearly now. All that junk starts to push away. Okay. Just by playing pretend is powerful. Just relax and let that experience happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's my first message. Wow. Okay. Hello, Christiane, Linda, Rob, welcome. Welcome. I'm going to be channeling Osiris next, by the way. We've got some messages coming through here. Okay. So Tor, you were saying accepting the unseen as a reality is definitely a great challenge. It is. Accepting love and valuing that love from something the mind may judge as fantasy, but it doesn't make the love less real, for sure. That is so well put. That's it in a nutshell, right? Oh, so Christiane, sorry for being late. Happy to be here, dear Abbey. Happy to see you here. Thank you for coming. Rob, you say, hi, Abbey. Can you channel the ninth dimension? I have been getting messages from the Arcturian Council in the ninth dimension, but my clarity at receiving is still developing. Interested in hearing what you receive. Okay. All right. Done deal. We're going to go there. Okay. So I'm doing Osiris and I'm going to do the ninth dimension Arcturians, helping Rob to figure out what is it that they're saying. Okay. Now, Tor, I'll definitely take some Jesus in my life and find a way to get the mind totally on board for trusting. It's been a great challenge for me, getting the mind to accept the intense love I receive from the non-physical. It is intense love. I know what that's like. I know how you want to let it in, but then when it starts to come in, it's almost like we have like, you know how you could develop a pain tolerance? We kind of have a love tolerance. So when the love starts to come in, we could have weird reactions to it, like ego gets in the way and starts to shut it down. Like it's just practice, it's like building actual muscles in the gym. It's building the ability to have like a developing love tolerance. And we need to be choosing more love often, like choose love more often than anything else. Like, why wouldn't we? And why don't we? We're kind of attracted to the gray and the gloomy. So it's practice. Christiane, you say, when I invoke Jesus, a warm wave rolls through me. Totally agree. I mean, and it doesn't have to be a religious or Christian thing. Like Like we know who Jesus is. There's a reason why the world's been introduced to Jesus, because it doesn't have to be attached to a religion. He's just a great guy, you know, he's just a great guy. And he's symbolic of something that we can all want to know more about, right? Because we can enjoy and appreciate people from every culture, from every part of the world, and it doesn't have to be attached to a religion or anything like that. We can just appreciate people. And it's really like I really love what Jesus represents, because it's just completely tender. It's just completely non-judgmental. I'm wanting to understand more about unconditional love, towards myself, towards others, unconditional love, non-judgment, because non-judgment gives us room to not judge ourselves. You know, when you're around somebody who's not judging you, it gives you the ability to be strong enough to talk about things that you've been judging yourself for. And that stuff's got to come out somehow, you know? So Jesus is a really good representative of that. So Christiane saying it's true. It's difficult to let it be and last, to make it last. When you invoke Jesus and the warm waves roll through you, it is hard to just make it last, right? To just like let it last as long as you really want it to. I get that. Okay. So I'm going to channel Osiris now, and then we're going to go visit the ninth dimension. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Loving the conversation here. Just so happy you guys could come. It's great. We got a group. All right, here we go. All right. I'm a man and I'm in deep reflection, not necessarily about myself, about the world, but I would say the word is the creation. I'm in deep reflection of the creation. And I'm sitting and I feel no real presence of the body. Like I feel my butt on a chair, and I feel like I like this position, or it's too lean back, you know, need to sit up straight. I don't feel any of that. I don't feel any aches and pains. I don't feel anything. I just feel like I'm in a sitting position and I'm in deep reflection of the creation. And there's all these bats, like super loud and very bulked together. So there could be like a million of them, and they're just constantly screaming and brushing past my face. And I don't pay them any attention. I just completely ignore them to the point that I could tune them out so they don't even exist. But their existence is still felt, it is still present. And I go to Osiris and I say, hello. Hello, how are you? I don't know what to say, so just say that. I ask him if he's going to tune me out, if I'm one of the bats. He instantly moves his hand and grabs one of the bats really, really with a great grip, okay? And then really closes tight. And then the bat's face is getting like kind of like full of blood, like it's gonna pop. It's like, oh, and then he stops squeezing, and then the bat goes back to doing exactly what it was doing, as though nothing ever happened. So the bat can't learn to stop. It can't stop. So even though he's trying to teach the bat a different behavior, the bat chooses the same behavior. So the bat doesn't stop with its own behavior. So let's say we parallel the screaming bats to human beings who can't stop certain behaviors that could be even self-destructive. There must be a theme going on here. Important stuff though, right? So you have a wake-up call, let's say, and the wake-up call should be enough for you to say, I get it. I see what you're telling me, universe, and I'm going to make changes. But it's hard to make those changes. It's easy to say, I want to, I don't know how to, I'm not strong enough to, and then just fall back into the same pattern. He says it's more than just that. He says it's more than that. Now he's showing me a different angle on things because these bats are yelling at him, basically screaming at him, and he's ignoring them. He's even hurting this one to get it to stop screaming because he just wants to just do this. He just wants to sit here and he just wants to reflect. And he wants this screaming to just, these bats to just disappear, but they won't. They keep screaming at him. Nothing he does makes it go away. Now he parallels this moment to being a single human being. And let's say the screaming bats are on them all day long. The bats are screaming, okay? And he kind of shows me the alarm clock goes off in the morning and you're disoriented and getting out of bed so that you can get dressed, ready, go to work. And it's this mundane reality that let's say your life is this mundane reality and it's very unfulfilling, and there's this something that's like this cloud of bats that's always screaming at you to make a change and you just won't listen, and they're there and they're there and they're there and they're there, and there's these revolving thoughts that just don't stop. Now let's say 15 years passes and something changes inside yourself or something changes in the world, and it's just a trigger switch that says I can be different now. Now you make a change and all the screaming stops, because all along all it was asking for you to do was be in alignment with yourself, but you weren't wanting that. You were wanting to stay out of alignment with yourself. That's why the screaming continued until you felt ready to make a change that would help you to align more with yourself. You guys have any memories like this where, I mean, it could be, it oftentimes, I swear, it could revolve around relationships where you just know that this is not healthy, but you don't know how to make it change or make it stop. And it's always revolving around your mind. Even when you put it on the side burner and tune it out and you get through the day, it just comes back and it becomes like a normal part of everyday life until an event happens and then something changes and you're not in that relationship, or you've moved and there's just very little communication now, and all that starts to quiet down. And it's weird. It's like, I guess I was screaming in my head louder than I was allowing myself to notice here, that I needed to stop, that I needed to make a change. And so he's kind of saying that this is really what these bats are about. So he's reflecting, but he's not making changes himself. And the bats are screaming at him to make a change, but he's not making a change. So the human then is reflecting on what they've created in their life, or the people they've attracted, or the family members, or the job, or the whatevers, reflecting, but not making changes. And the bats then are screaming. So he's showing me. Okay, so what else do you want us to know about this? Okay. He shows me that the human, okay, I'm just going to tell you what he does. He decides to go in a darker direction, and the direction is to hurt, to create hurt. So instead of making a change that is more freeing, he makes a change that is more punishing of the problem. Okay. And so instantaneously he gets an inspiration and he kills all the bats in one single second. Like they all just suddenly drop and fall to the ground. He stands up and he walks into a darker dimensional space. And he starts to communicate with inspirations that are going to create harm. And he starts to focus his mind on what he can do to punish what has created the screaming bats. So he's going in the opposing direction. So that's interesting because I guess that probably is true, you know? I guess when you meet in the middle, you can either go in the way that's self-healing or the way that's self-harming. And if you really decide to dive in deep into the self-harming, that might shut the bats up because you're starting to work with a new vibration of meaning, of information, of self-reflection. That's only going to create the next thing. It's just, I guess it's up to you to decide where you want to go with it, to shut the bats up, you know? Never thought of it that way. Okay, so he goes in that direction, okay? Because he decides that he wants to be in control. He's not the coward that's going to run away from the situation because people don't want to change. So he has to be the one to change, or he has to be the one to leave. He has to be the one. No, he's going to make sure those people learn a lesson, and he's going to be the dealer of those cards, you know? So it's more of the darker side of decision making. I just go time out, time out, time out. Why? And like, why though? Why does that feel like the right thing to do? Does that actually feel like the right thing to do? Are you just bitter? Like you're going into a place of weakness. That's what that is, you know? That's just what that is. So that everything revolves around you in a way that's creating suffering, in my opinion. He shows me that man, this is fascinating. I still don't know what to make of it. Okay, this is human as well. We can't deny that this isn't a human inspiration, okay? So after taking a very long time to think of everything in a deep way, to really deeply reflect, even wisely reflect, he decides to go in the opposing direction, not to go towards like the Jesus direction, but to go toward the dark side of the moon. You know what I mean? Like go towards something that is going to be the punisher, basically. Like I'm going to punish you. I'm going to punish the world. I'm going to punish the creation that was trying to punish me for just being myself, you know, or whatever. And I'm starting to see dark roots growing into the planet, and the dark roots are quite loud and quite influential. And they're loud and influential enough that it grows a population that hear the sound of it and say, I like that better than my bats. I like that a lot better than my bats. I'm going to join this so that my bats, screaming bats, go away as well. I feel this is right. Now we can create war, right? We can create something on a grander scale to get the bats to shut up. It could be on an individual level. The individual goes somewhere dark, becomes influential with that darkness, and calls many, then a population, to come be on board with it. And then together we can get rid of the screaming bats. We're already getting rid of them, you know? So it's kind of an extermination process. It's not ending one's life, it's getting rid of the problem. But what is really truly the problem? Where does the problem exist, you know? Okay, I'm going to stick with this for just a little longer, okay? So the dark roots are in the planet, and the dark roots are reaching every country, okay? And this is no longer physical. This is an energy thing. And there's vibrational sounds that we don't hear as a human being, but we receive it energetically. And we become collectively aware of something, okay? Collectively aware of something. And that something is loud enough and strong enough that we could be just intuitively making moves without realizing it. We could be intuitively picking up on something that would be seemingly have nothing to do with our day-to-day life, but yet we're sensing it out, we're feeling it. And it's causing people to move in different directions. You know what's kind of eerie about this is that you know, I've noticed that a lot of people are moving. You know, this summer, like people are straight up packing up, moving from one state to another state. I'm moving from the US to Canada. You know, like people are straight up moving places. You can't deny it. People are moving. I don't know if it's in other countries, but it's definitely happening here in the US. Maybe there's a phenomenon and we're intuitively picking up on it, and then we're just seemingly just choosing to move, but really we're actually picking up on something bigger than we can understand, something much bigger that's actually impacting people across the globe, and we're just doing something that seems like makes sense. It's simple, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just moving from here to here because of these reasons, but actually on a soul level, on a more intuitive level, there's a bigger reason as to where that influence is coming from. And it's moving our souls in different places for different reasons. I mean, he's saying this, it's almost like telling us something without telling us what it actually is. So, I mean, it's kind of on a creepy level that he might be hinting at something more closer to home than I'm able to understand it, because I'm not meant to understand it more than just like this. Okay. I'm not into creepy stuff. As in like, I mean, obviously I'm into creepy stuff, but when you realize that creepy stuff is safe, like it's safe in a way that it like you just feel like you can neutralize the feeling and be at peace with it, like Jesus style love with it. Like it's creepy, but I'm Jesus, I'm going to hold you creepy and it's going to be fine, you know. And whatever is going on around you, all it needs is a hug, you know. Once you start to realize the ABCs of energy, you don't feel like you're beneath the surface of something that's bigger than you. You're just at peace with whatever, you know. And just keep following your heart no matter where it takes you, and trust that you're being guided, because some of this stuff we have to be guided. Maybe we're being guided through some internal radar that we haven't developed the ability to translate it. Our guides are guiding us, the stars are guiding us, our life paths are guiding us. We're magnetically guiding each other in different directions. It could be something so much bigger than we understand. I'm going to ask him if there's anything else about this. He's silently walking towards me. And I mean, there is a something about a dark, like a dark cloud, a dark veil, um, something that even clouds the eyes or the mind, something that creates a new level of challenge for our collective, our whole human race. It kind of reminds me of coronavirus, maybe like that on another level. It could be something else though, you know, a new level of learning that we get to do globally, you know, a new global learning that we get to have with each other. And it feels like it's coming, it's being influenced or manifested from a place um of dark, okay, instead of a place of light. But anything that's dark is actually just bringing us closer to self-awareness and love. That's all it's ever doing. Okay. I'll let you. Boy, that's warm and fuzzy. That'll help us go to bed at night, won't it? Okay. I'm gonna stop there with that, okay? Unless you guys don't want me to. Should I go see if you have any questions about this? I'm gonna go back to your message here too, Rob, just so that I'm prepared about the Arct. You know what? I'm gonna go to the ninth dimension with the Arcturians, and let's just keep the ball rolling. I mean, we start with the Jesus introduction into this Osiris message. There's something interesting about the domino effect that's taking place, and maybe it will continue into the ninth dimension with the Arcturians. Maybe that what you're picking up on from them has something to do with this. I don't know. Um, can you channel the ninth dimension? Been getting messages from the Arcturian Council in the ninth dimension, but my clarity at receiving is still developing. Okay, yeah, totally. Tori say that made a lot of sense actually for the current times. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's see where this goes. All right, ninth dimension time, Arcturians. What are you, Arcturian Council, saying to Rob in the ninth dimension? Oh man, I have to totally leave the planet. it's like I was in a purgatory and then I was in the underground in the dark brewing to create new learning for our collective as a global human race, only to completely leave the planet to go like way away. I'm like the earth is becoming like a marble in the distance. That's what this is like. I feel like I have nothing to do with that earth world. I don't know. That's it's like I'm just entering into some new I basically okay, as I'm going further and further and further away from that earth world and all that earth conflict and drama and blah blah blah, I'm kind of reaching a place that is like a grand massive ocean and it's cold, okay? It's like a cold northerly beach water and maybe the spring or the fall or something. I don't know. It's like the water is cold, it's tolerable, but it is cold and I'm just hanging out in vast ocean waves and it's all around me. But what's interesting is there's not very deep. Like maybe if you're 6 foot tall, your head would be above be able to be above the waves even. Like you can stand here. And it feels like the whole planet is not very the water. It just says it feels like I could walk and walk for miles and I don't hit any kind of abyss. But I also I'm not finding anything. That's the next sensation. It's like I could go and walk all the way around the planet, nothing, find nothing of what I'm looking for. It's there's nothing else here, but basically like it's like your classic sandy bottom and then water. That's it. There's no fish, there's no life here. There's nothing else but the water and the sandy bottom. And it starts to become a small world. You could expand simplicity out and make it the size of a whole planet, like the size of the planet Earth. Or you could take simplicity and hold it in the palm of your hand. What are you going to find in simplicity? And then when you find yourself in simplicity, what else is there? This is really a discussion between the mind and the heart, because simplicity can become what is inner peace. It doesn't matter how complicated it gets out there, we can go to a place of inner peace. And inner peace could be a simple thing, you know? But if we find it to be simple, it could be boring. And where does boring come from? It doesn't come from inner peace. Where does inner peace come from? It's kind of like a feeling that you get around here in the heart and emotional gut, right? Inner peace could be here when you just don't choose to think about anything. You just clear your mind. So you could have inner peace in your mind, but oftentimes you feel it, you know, you feel inner peace. But then if it's as simple, it's too simple, you know. It's just nothing. I'm looking for treasure and it's starting to open up more doors. Like, okay, you want to start with something simple, something basic. You could turn that into inner peace, or you could turn it into, well, actually, I'm looking for something more creative than that. I'm looking for something that's going to challenge my mind, a buried treasure that I can investigate and I feel like I found something cool and I don't really know its history. And now I have something to uncover some more information that's interesting. You know what I mean? So now are we looking for something simple? We're going to another world to experience another planet, but really there's nothing to find here. So it's almost like the Arcturians are asking you to really go deeper into what is it that you're really looking for. And to do that, you need to go into your feelings too, and into your creative mind, and then back into your feelings, and then into your creative mind. Something isn't developing enough here for some reason. So let's just go back to this simple planet, okay? Which is so simple. The mind would say this is boring, and the heart is struggling to find inner peace because it's just water and it's just sandy bottom. There's nothing else for a bajillion miles. We just go round and round and nothing else, okay? Zero, anything else. I'm supposed to tell you that. Arcturians want you to know that. I mean, this is something we can all learn from. Their relationship with simplicity. Is it boring or is it inner peace? Okay, I'm showing the Arcturians. Okay, done with that. What's the next thing? Because I'm gonna work on getting into their council area. Yeah, they're kind of giggling. There's a female kind of laughing about this because where does the council exist? It's a high council. So you could say it would exist in like your ninth chakra or something. I mean, they're kind of talking about, does it exist in here in your mind? If you were to travel to it, is it a space inside your chakras? You know, like where does it exist in the universe? It exists as part of your energy field. You can go to a part of your energy field and interact with them in that part of your energy field as though you went directly to their location, which their location is everywhere. It's in everybody's, what is like ninth chakra. Okay. So we all carry them inside of our energy field. But there is something physical about it too. There is something of a blending about it, about our physical forms and the ability to interact with them. I feel emotionally uncomfortable, like, okay, I'm moving towards this space and it's got like a squishy spherical, it's dark blue in color, and there's a door that's kind of rounded bowed out towards me and it's locked, and I see them inside and they're talking and I'm not allowed to come in and it's making me angry. And I start pounding on the outside wall. I see you are there. And there's something that doesn't feel like you're being let in deep enough to really understand. Like you're kind of always behind the closed door, trying to listen to hear what they're saying on the other side. So I'm there to help you. First I say, I gotta laugh, you know, like, they don't have anything interesting to say. So this is like, you really want in to hear what? Blah, 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 blah. Like, let's go have fun somewhere in the universe. So it's almost like sometimes you want something so bad that it puts a door there. In the energy world, it will do this. It will put a door there. You want something so bad, it'll put a door there. You really put it there yourself. But why? Because you want something, but then you don't, what some part of you might say, well, you don't deserve it, or you'll never be worthy of it, or you'll never really know what they're saying. So the door is really there by ego, you know what I mean? So when I help you to feel like that we have the whole universe, it helps you to feel like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, you know, because that door is only there because it's just a manifested to be like that because of learning purposes. So if I distract you away and show you that we have the whole universe, all of a sudden they aren't that important. They aren't the only thing that matters. And that starts to dissolve the door, you know? And you kind of cry a little bit because you really feel something missing and you're really longing to feel closer connection. And then again, you couldn't be closer. You literally couldn't be closer. Even it's almost like they're a part of your DNA, so that we would always be able to interact with the Arcturians, because it's almost like they're a part of our very DNA. We carry them in our very bodies. And so because of that, we're always going to be quite receptive, to communicating with them. Even if we don't consciously understand that, we would be, because we have something of their biology and our biology. It seems like that's what they're saying here, and that we could easily connect with them at any time. She's kind of, this female in particular is one that is really trying to like be more present than the others. And kind of like about the Jesus message about play pretend is one way to help yourself feel their presence. So let's just take Jesus out of the picture here and then put an Arcturian being here, and to feel that they love you, that they care about you. And that will start with a simpler message that feels good. Not because it's not boring, it actually reaches the emotion, it reaches part of how you feel. And it feels like you matter. Okay. And so there could be things like, let me just listen for a minute. Yeah, we'll start here. So she's basically just helping you to feel heard, helping you to feel that you are a part of this. You are a part of this, helping you to feel connected, feel that way. Okay. And it starts with the basics. All right. Now I'm going to go inside this version, your version of this space. I'm going to go inside this, and the part of your biology or soul energy or whatever part of you that really needs this conversation, I'm going to go into it. Okay. You know what's in here? A bunch of people, just like there's humans, a lot of human beings in here. And I find it to be mindless talking, mindless. It's just talking, and it's boring. It's very boring. And it seems like it feeds the ego more than it feeds anything else. It feels like humans that are attracted to this space. Some part of you is trying to be a part of the same. Um, it's like there could be a collective of human beings that are drawn to communicating with the Arcturians, and for some reason, this collective is drawn to the same location. But actually, this location is full of human beings that it's just like it's like the most boring party of like talking aristocrats and nothing really interesting, and it's all feeding the ego. It's all food for the ego. It's not actually it's very flat. It's very it could be, let's say we were to translate this and write a book with this. No, they're saying not that example. Let's see. What would be the best way to define this? I'm just going to continue to stand here. And I'm just going to accept this the way it is. I mean, there's people even in togas, there's like philosophies that are trying to be born from here. And it's just a bunch of talking that's really all about, yeah, I talked to Arcturians, or yeah, they told me this, but it's just distractions. It's just not the depth, it's not the depth of what truly creates transformation in the heart of the human race. What I love about Arcturians, they're really about the heart of the mind. And they don't work with ego at all. They work with straight facts. I mean, they work with, it's like this, it's not like this. Why would you want it to be like this? I mean, they ask questions. They're very much speak like that. That's why I find it interesting that there's feelings involved in this interaction. And there must be something of more emotion to be felt here too, for you. I can see why this is challenging. There could be a lot of layers that are maybe what you think it would be like to actually, like, maybe you feel a connection with the ninth dimension Arcturian council, but it's all based on what you perceive it to be, not what it actually is. Like, when you make a new friend, it's all very kind of basic interaction until it dives deep, and then it's 10 years later I feel like I'm conflicted by what the message is that you're, um, I'm understanding why you're having a hard time translating it, because everything I'm doing here is basically kind of creating a circulation away from what it is that you're wanting to reach, because there's something, there's too many layers of ideas without, none of that stuff matters. None of it. It's just like just allowing the message to be. So I'm actually going to just disconnect from all this, and then I'm just going to go hang with the Arcturians for a little bit, and then see if there's a message for all of us. And I'll explain why here in a minute, okay? Because what I'm trying to do is get to the message you're picking up on without being connected to you. So that way it's just, they either want to talk or they don't want to talk. It does, I don't have any, I don't put any weight on either, on the message either. I just want to experience something meaningful. Okay, here's Arcturian now. She's talking about why it was coming up, emotion, because it's diversify the way that you're psychically translating information. That's true. So I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to sit here and say, if you could tell us anything, what would it be? And then I'm going to talk through how I'm picking up on this information. She's taking me into a very peaceful experience, and we are levitating above the water now. The same ocean, the same ground, okay? Underneath it. She says, imagine this is your mind. Now, do you fill your mind with things, or do you allow yourself to discover what is within itself? And to believe there's more here, as in to allow more to become clear to you. She shows me that this was a hidden detail that you weren't able to see, and it's a green sphere. And what does it mean? Hold it in your hand. Sometimes looking at things isn't enough. She says, eat it. It's like, I'm kind of freaked out by that idea. I don't want to put that in my mouth. I don't like it. I don't want to eat that. Says, then lick it. So I'm going to lick it. It's a little baby. It's a little miniature green baby. I say, and you wanted me to eat that. We're both kind of laughing. You ask questions, you see. And the little baby is made out of like a pea pod. And it's really cute, and it's being born. And as this baby is born, it inspires new birth of new ideas, new things to be born. And we're now in the state of creation. Osiris and his creation. Now this creation is something that's flourishing, is something that is being born, is something that is new and is fresh, new ideas. What else? Before you know it, there's an entire planet in development. Like, I mean, there's land now, there's deeper parts of the ocean, there's foods to actually try to eat, there's fire to cook things, there's basic life, you know, what we're familiar with is paralleling here, but it's different flavors, different colors, different sensations, and it's all very peaceful. It's very comforting. This is actually, again, she's showing me a parallel between that place where it's just a bunch of talking versus this place where there's a bunch of experiencing. And to start with experiencing the Arcturians in the ninth dimension, instead of trying to hear what they have to say, experience. And what they could be saying could be an orange. It might be in the image of a flame. So you can start with stuff and then experience the basic stuff and know that who is behind what is presenting these images is your intention, right? Oh yeah. I feel that after doing all this, that the communication that you're having a hard time hearing is helping you to actually develop more of your ability, your psychic ability. And maybe you're not wanting to be a certain way, when you're actually gifted by diversifying your senses, diversify your senses, you'll get more out of the communication. So it's not like a dry law book, but it's actually like a whole planet of experiences, and it's a very inner childlike, it's very colorful, it's a very I don't know, there's a lot of heart here in my opinion. There's a lot of like feelings here. And that's really, I think, a good healthy fit. Totally. Okay, hold on a second. Rob, you say what they seem to be saying to me is that there is infinite existence, which has given me peace. When I think of that, the Arcturian Council says that we just have to ask for their help and they will help us. Yes, yes, absolutely. And it's kind of cool that it's being emphasized here that they're part of our actual biology. That's never been presented to me before, that they're like a part of our DNA. They're part of our chakra system. That we can go to them, not by like trying to find them somewhere, but by being an Arcturian ourselves. Like, I'm gonna just pretend here, I'm gonna just feel like I'm an Arcturian, and then I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna just see what reveals itself to me. I do like the sensations of peace. Like, you could have simplicity that becomes boring, and we discover that what you're really looking for beneath the surface is something more interesting, right? Or we don't need anything more than what we already have, just to allow ourselves to feel peaceful. Then to develop psychic ability, to get more out of a communication, to diversify the way things smell or taste, or how we hear them, like through musical notes or through giggles and laughter. There's just so many other ways that we can receive information, that isn't just like the dry written word, you know what I mean? And it can come out so creatively and be so dynamically influential, you know what I mean? So I love that. I'm really glad you introduced this to this, Rob, because so many people are wanting to connect with the Arcturian Council, don't know how to. And so this is going to help a lot of people. Also, I really enjoyed the sensation of inner peace. And there is like a total separation from the planet Earth, like as in the gloom, the doom, all that side of the beginning of this very long channeling, right? To feel so like free to just have fun and be playful and discover something more. And it's beautiful. So we can do that anytime in our life. If we're starting to have a panic attack, call in Jesus. We're already starting that pretending sensation. Just let the love in. Now we can say, okay, I'm going to try to experience Arcturians now, okay? Just to make it a little bit more outside the box. Like, I just want to have something more on my team, not just Jesus, now Arcturians, right? And then so we allow that, and we just see what information comes to us. Some of them might make us uncomfortable, and sometimes just sitting with the discomfort makes the discomfort go away. Because if we try to hide from it or run away from the discomfort or say, ew, that's not what I want, then we're being judgmental, and we're not being unconditionally loving of something that might be a little bit uncomfortable, right? We're sticking with it. We're saying it's okay. And then you could find that discomfort just disappears. And then you're presented with the next thing, you know? I'm just going to pause for just a moment. I'm just kind of reevaluating all the messages here. now that I'm up so high, I just want to look at the Osiris message one more time from way, 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 way up here, where I don't feel like I'm kind of, I don't feel the human life stuff. I feel free, kind of just not so human right now. I feel kind of just like playful and in outer space. And I point down and I ask the Arcturian woman what she thinks about that in Rob's like planetary world. It's cool. Okay, let's see. She takes the finger that I point down there, and then she puts the finger and points it at my heart. She says, no matter what happens in your world, everybody who's watching, no matter what happens in our earth world, our human world, we have to listen to our heart, no matter what happens. Maybe we try to make sense of it here in our mind, and we just go around and round in circles. But if we listen to our heart, that we have to trust in that. We have to trust in that guidance. When you listen to your heart, life will be always fun and exciting and beautiful. Like, don't let yourself get sucked into the vacuum of the daunting gloom, right? And it's not about optimism or pessimism. It's just about choosing to feel that light inside yourself and let that light guide you. If you want to call that inner light your higher self, you could call it Jesus's light. I mean, there's so many different ways that we work with light and how we want to define light. She says that follow your heart. Your heart will always bring you to where you need to be. And don't define that as a good or bad place, because it's exactly where you need to be. And it's full of love. It's full of light because you're there. Because you're there. It's full of love and light because you're there, right? And it's full of love and light because everybody else is there. Are they working with their heart, or they need support and learning how to? In the end, everything is always full of heart energy, no matter where we are and no matter what the world looks like. It's always full of heart. So we get to choose how we want to gravitate towards our next experiences, with heart or with fear, right? But she doesn't like talking about fear, blah, blah, blah. She's like, bring it back to something that's creative, that is inner child, that is refreshing, that is revitalizing of the senses, that is expanding of your self-awareness and the gifts of your own biology. That's what she has to say about that. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Okay. So Robbie say, thanks, Abby. Love and light to you and the awesome community that you have developed. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. That was cool of you to say. Now, Christiane, you say, interesting. Often I have the feeling of becoming the channeled being when connecting, especially through light languaging, voice, or movement. Oh, that's fascinating. So you have the feeling becoming the channeled being. I can see where you're going with that. Almost like let's say you're the medium of the experience, and it's almost like it's channeling of you as you're interacting with it, but you're maybe the centerpiece of the communication and how it flows. I mean, you are the giver. Like, you literally are the giver, because you're the piece, you're the gift that we get to see and experience that flow coming from. Really interesting way of perceiving it. I mean, that's how I interpret that, but I really like that. Okay, Amanda, thank you for coming. Jean, thank you for coming. It's so awesome to see you guys. So Amanda, Christiane, Jean, Linda, Rob, Tor, thank you all so much for being here. Hi, Amanda. It's been a really fun experience, and some really interesting dynamic messages. So I hope you're all doing well, and it's a Thursday, so just a few more days, right? We got pretty much the weekend ahead of us. So thank you again for being here. And I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I look forward to next week on Thursday. So I hope you guys can be there for that too. All right, take care.